It's point. We'll be in Proverbs. Surprise. Lord in heaven, thank you for your word. Thank you for the book of Proverbs. Such vast, so much to cover, and we're scratching the surface. But what we cover impact our lives and change us and provide wisdom we need for godly living in this confusing world in which we live. Thank you for God's people together tonight. They be built up in their faith. May we be encouraged as we share together in prayer. Thank you for a church that, please, be more like the early church was devoted to prayer, both corporately and individually. And their blessed time in the word tonight. Pray, Jesus' name. Amen. Proverbs 22, and we may finish up this chapter tonight, and we've been to another chapter. Well, not 23. We'll do a little backtracking, but we will not get to that till next week. So we are in chapter 22, verse 26. And I believe I mentioned last week that we are now in, it may not have been designated in our description, but in a section where all of a sudden we might have lengthier sections. And for chapter after chapter after chapter, it's basically been verse, one subject. So now that is changing. And that's true. Was it true last week? Yeah, verses 24 and 25. We were last week. You'll see those two verses together. Do not associate with a given to anger or go with hot-tempered man. You will his way to find a snare for yourself. Very clearly, both of those verses go together. And true as well, verse 26, verse 27. Do not be among those who give pledges, those who become guarantors for debts. If you have nothing which to pay, why should he take your bed from under you? So these verses are on the subject of giving pledges, which has nothing to do with promising a certain amount of money that you're going to give to a charitable organization or anything like that. Literally, this kind of interesting, giving pledges, it's translated in the NSB, is literally to strike hands, kind of as in a handshake. We're not talking about a warm greeting when we think a handshake. This is a sealing of the deal. It's a cultural thing. Striking hands, you're guaranteeing something. And the subject is co-signing. These two verses are talking about making yourself responsible for someone else's debt. That's what the subject is. Proverbs said a lot about finances. It said a lot about foolish things you can do as it relates to your finances. A big one, of course, is debt. But hey, I'd say right up there with accumulating too much debt would be making yourself responsible for someone else's debt. And that's a serious matter. I was actually surprised when we did a few other cross references. How many times this actually comes up in Proverbs? Don't make yourself responsible for someone else's debt. Word among there is a little intriguing. It's quite the same sense as in the previous verses. Don't be among those who are angry. I don't think that's exactly the sense here. It's more people who do this, make themselves just so quickly and think themselves responsible for potentially someone else's debt. And don't be among them is the emphasis here. The curious reference in verse 27 to your bed. Now, Bible times, they very often would sleep on the floor. And take our beds for granted. If you had a bed, that was something of value to you. Very, very important position. So the warning here is if you make yourself liable for someone else's debt and then they pay the creditor to take your bet. They're valuable possessions. That's, you substitute whatever is your most valuable. Maybe your is your most valuable possession. Maybe not the most expensive, but something that's important. So the advice here is along those lines. Warning against danger. If you do this, just beware. You can lose very valuable assets there. In fact, maybe at the time when you make yourself a co-signer, you did that have financial resources, but those might change down the road. So that's a risky future. And of course, Bible times, whole matter of debt is so different attitude compared to our society. We deal with it when we covered some problems. You know, just our society accepts debt. It's just the way things go. But in Bible times, it's a serious matter. If you couldn't pay debt, you could end up in jail, or your children be sold to slaves and to your debt. It was a serious matter. Goods might be confiscated as well. We see a little bit of that in Nehemiah chapter 5, not there, but that was going on in Israel. But look at a few of the other references to the same subject back in chapter 6, where we have actually the first 5 verses of that chapter hit this subject hard. Proverbs 6, verse 1, my son, if you became surety for your neighbor, given a pledge for a stranger, if you have been snared with the words of your mouth, you've been caught with the words of your mouth. Do this, my son, and deliver yourself, since you have given to the hand of your neighbor. Go, hide yourself, and if to your neighbor give no sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hunter's hand, like a bird from the hand of the fowler. That's pretty powerful, pretty fast, pretty illustrative there. If you've done this, do what you can to get out of that obligation as being a co-signer. No, there in 3 as well as in verse 5, deliver yourself, as if getting yourself out of a trap. As in, what is it? Bird from the hand of the fowler at the end of verse 5, or gazelle from the hunter's hand. So it's a pretty powerful illustration there. In Israel, when you would loan something to somebody, it was always to help your fellow Israelite. In fact, you were not allowed to charge interest to your fellow Israelite. You're allowed to charge interest to somebody who was not an Israelite. So it's we could draw some analogies, comparison with loans and with co-signing as well. So these 3 verses here in chapter 6, a warning. Understand how serious this matter is. You are visible, and it makes it a matter of pride why somebody would even do it in the first place. So, I have financial means. It makes you feel like you're powerful and have the means when you would have the means. Try to be well thought of. Look at 11:15, just pull up your similar references. He who is guarantor for a stranger will surely suffer for it, but he who hates being guarantor is secure. And 17:18. The man lacking in sense pledges and becomes guarantor in the presence of his neighbor. So strong words there. My conclusion, I'm going to stop just short of saying every And any instance where a Christian would do that, it is sin. But let's understand, in terms of wisdom, strong warnings to not do that. It's extremely risky and usually very unwise. Here's some things to consider. If your conscience would allow you to do that, don't ever go something for an amount you're not able to pay. That would be, if you co-signed, you don't even know what it means, if the person should fault to cover it. So it goes with saying, make sure the details of the loan are clearly spelled out. If you're married, make sure your spouse is right along with you in agreement with that. If your spouse is uncomfortable, it's a pretty good sign. Don't do that. I'd say make a decision in advance. What happens if the money is not repaid? You're going to do that in the Lord's hands, resources to Him. You're not going to be angry, bitter, resentful. Don't vengeance. It's Lord's. I would say this. I think we mentioned this. We covered some pieces on loaning. If somebody has a legitimate need, and you have the opportunity to help, I would say almost always help them. People don't get entangled with loans, co-signing. That's the warning of Proverbs. It almost always ends up being a disaster and creating problems in a family, if it's a family situation or whatever it might be. Note those warnings there. Now back to chapter 22, verse 58. Do not move the ancient boundary which your fathers have set. The ancient bridges, it's been a long, long time. Remember, Solomon is writing, so it's ancient from Solomon's perspective. So very quickly, we're going back to the time of Joshua, when the land was parceled out amongst the tribes. They had conquered Canaan. Joshua distributed Canaan among various tribes, and the borders were marked by some sort of stone pillar or a pile of stones. And the often farmers would mark out the boundaries of their fields with these boundary markers. So they'd have surveyors in those days, and all kinds of equipment like we do as well. So mark your property with a pile of stones or a pillar of some sort. And the principle here is don't be moving those. That would be wrong. So the boundary here, at least in the NSB, could be translated landmark, or it could be translated boundary stone or boundary marker. Those, I think, the idea is something that spells out the property line that is yours. I'm told that even today, I've been to Israel, I just saw something from Faith, there be a 2024 Israel tour, $5,000. That apparently is a good, I remember it used to be $2,000. That seemed like an outrageous amount. So anyway, these are going up. Provides it well worth the money. I'm told even today in Israel, if you're on the bus and touring parts of the land there, you can still see these piles of stones and markers that have been there for generations. It's part of Israel's history. And this is like what we were just looking at as far as post-signing. I was surprised how many times this showed up. 6 different times, not just in Proverbs, but in Scripture, 60 times, the emphasis, don't move the boundary stone. Let's look at what shows up initially as part of the law. Deuteronomy 18:14. You shall not move your neighbor's boundary mark, which the ancestors have set in your inheritance, which you will inherit in the land that the Lord God gives you to possess. So land was very, very important in Israel, and your inheritance and what belonged to your family, and it would, of course, be in your family. And that was the way that God designed it, because the land belonged to him, and he parceled it out to his people. Land represented their survival. If you did not have your land, you did not have livelihood. So land was so important, and that you had land that was rightfully yours, and somebody not steal it. And this is the sin against God, since God owned and portioned all the land. Look back in Proverbs 23:10. Proverbs 23:10. Do not move the ancient boundary or go into the fields of the fatherless. For the Redeemer is strong. He will plead their case against you. So it reminds me some of the things that the Lord says about the poor people. You take advantage of the poor, and you're mean to them. God notes, or to the widow, God notes that. And you don't want to make God prefer. And same sort of situation here. God notes the thievery going on in stealing of land. So I did a little bit of reading. This part of the culture in the ancient Near East, knowing your property, respecting the property lines, and knowing your neighbor's property is so essential for a family's life. And if they didn't have that, it would be anarchy. You never know where the boundary was, and whose land, whose stream that is, or whose whatever part of the property it is. Probably the way it worked, if someone was going to do that, you didn't just move it in a dramatic fashion. You probably moved it just a little bit at a time, once a year. And over time, the significant change would take place. God says, don't do that. Again, I already mentioned not Israel, but I'm told some of the guides there tell a story of the founding of Jerusalem. I think it's based in, but anyway, this tradition is it the founding of Jerusalem centered around a round pillar. And the story goes like this. I found it interesting, so I'll share it. It involved two brothers. One brother was married, had 6 kids, and his brother was single, and their properties were next to each other. The brother had the large family. Was telling his wife, I feel badly for the brother. He doesn't have much inheritance, obviously, because the large family was viewed as a great inheritance. He said, "Hey, would you mind? I think I need to move the boundary mark closer to a house, so he has more property." And all for that. Because at the same time, the single brother was thinking, "Wow, my brother's got 6 kids. He's got to divide the inheritance. I think I could move the boundaries closer to my house, so he gets more property." And as the story goes, they kept doing this, and so the boundary marker never moved until one night they were at the same time and asked each other, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" They discovered what they were doing. They fell into each other's arms, a hug over that boundary marker, and that supposedly was the founding of the city of Jerusalem. Again, I don't think we did it in Scripture, But that's the traditional story that you hear from the guides there. It's interesting that there's a tradition that's tied into a boundary marking, whether it's a pile of, probably a pile of, if you were in that, I'd have a pile of, that'd be harder to move than just one. I guess it's a huge, large, heavy pillar. Verse 29, we've got time for the last verse, chapter 22. Do you see a man skilled in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. Two main principles about work in the book of Proverbs. I think it's in this early in chapter 22. And number one, work hard. And number two, work smart. So work diligently, and then be as skilled of a work as you possibly can. This verse, 29, is that second. The word skilled is literally the word quick. Do you see a man quick in his work? So the point isn't just that be fast in the work, though sometimes that would indicate that you are skilled. You can do it fast. So that's the idea behind the Hebrew word. But I think skilled is really the point. This word was used of Ezra, that's 7:6. It was a scribe who was skilled in the law of Moses. Literally, he was quick in the law of Moses. That doesn't mean he was a speed reader. It meant he had a proficiency. He does. Now, to stand before kings is much more than just, okay, you're not with the king. Well, it means you'll be put into the service of the king. If you are skilled in whatever it is your profession is, you will have opportunity for some very special opportunities. I'm not necessarily promising a government job, but prominent people will catch their eye and they will want you in their company, or if their certain skill earns recognition and reward of advancement. That's the problem. Skill earns reward of advancement, or skill earns recognition and reward of advancement. So that's your position. You've got skills. You will be highly valued and usually paid for as well. Now, these are, as I've said numerous times, these proverbs are general principles. That there will be some exceptions in life. Somebody who's skilled and doesn't get the prominent position, doesn't get the promotion, doesn't get the big salary. Proverbs says, as a general rule, that's how it's going to work. So don't rely on pride or flattery. Seek to improve your skills and not on these things Proverbs has dealt with. Some examples in the Bible: Joseph in the book of Genesis, Nehemiah, Daniel, all three of those individuals literally stood before kings, had positions in the royal court because of unique skills they have. Now again, this isn't saying you're going to get a government job, but it does mean something that is impressive, something that is significant. Look at 1 Kings 11:28. Kings 11:28. The man Jeroboam was a valiant warrior, and when Solomon saw that the young man was industrious, he appointed him over all the forced labor of the house of Joseph. There's an example where someone who, in this case, it is an example of a king, someone who has some skill and puts him in a significant position. So, if you're a good steward of the opportunities and talents that God has given you, the general principle is God will open doors for you. So, some practical things, and then we'll move into interesting stat. For example, whatever your hourly rate is, and you have some for salary, but just think in terms of what your hourly rate is. If you could acquire some additional training or skill or certification that would increase by $2.50 an hour over a career, that's $250,000. Just that $2.50. So it's an example of this proverb, how it might potentially play out. So the proverb, rather than complain about I'm not paid very much, I don't ever get a promotion. The proverb would have us to the approach, right? What are you going to do about it? What training you going to get? What skills you going to acquire? What do you do to change? Could be formal education, could be vocational training, could be an apprenticeship. A lot of things in our day and age that you might do. Generally, people are going to pay you for one of two things: either what you know or what you can do. So think in these terms. What can you do? What do you know? Obviously, with this group here, looking past that, these are things that stress more often younger people in the workforce or considering major in college or things like that. Share a few of these, nonetheless. Some considerations for trying to increase your value in the job market. Number one, just consider what God has made you. God has made us all different. Somebody might be a techie computer type of person. Somebody else might be working with their hands, and that's where their skills are. Somebody might be creative, they're inventing things, or just have that entrepreneur spirit. We had a family in this church years ago, and I remember when they first came asking, then what do you do? And he said, an entrepreneur. That's the first time I'd ever anybody say that's their job. And so for him, if it's your mindset, that's what God has wired you. And think of pastor at First Baptist in Caldwell, Pastor Buka. I mean, pastor full of God, but he's that. He's always he's an inventor. He's trying to come up with new things to make ministry more effective. Early God would come up with one of the first, like, hold your iPhone in a car. He was on that idea before anybody had such things. Number two, what skills are currently in demand? So, right, what is it? And do some thinking down the road. What are going to be the areas where there's going to be need? I would think, as our population here in America gets older, the healthcare profession, you will always have a job in this area. So, and then number three, what it takes to get a job, what experience, what certification, what degree. And obviously, none of that happens quickly. Skill acquisition takes time, and usually takes money as well. But that's what the book of Proverbs says is the route you have to take if you're going to stand before the king, if you really want a promotion. Obviously, ultimately, it's always in God's hands as far as the type of work you're going to do, but we do have a responsibility. And that concludes chapter 22. This week, we're going to backtrack to Proverbs chapter 10. I know that seems a little crazy, but crazy in a God time. If you want to do a little bit of reading ahead, Proverbs 10 is where we are going to do. Let me make a note.